All right, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to another edition of Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. Before we get started, though, I got to shout out all of the Black women that are watching the show tonight. Today is Black Women's Day of Rest. So today in the Court of Public Opinion, our Black women won't be resting, but today happens to be Black Women's Day of Rest. So congratulations to all the Black women. I hope that you had a restful day. And if not, hopefully you'll have a restful evening as we break down these cases. All right? Are we ready? Are we ready? Please be sure to hit that like button. Also, be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, be sure to hit that share button. Don't forget to turn on your notifications. And as always, we love it when you drop down in the comments. All right, let's get this Monday started. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, where the glitz and glamour of fame collides with the cold, hard gavel of justice. Tonight, we delve into the lives of those who live under the spotlight, examining the legal battles that threatens to overshadow their stardom. And we ask this question. Are these celebrities victims of circumstances, or are they architects of their own downfall? So let's uncover the truth together. Our docket tonight is nothing short of explosive because first up, Jurnee Smollett. Oh my goodness, I never wanted to see Jurnee in this celebrity court, but yes, she's on the docket. Jurnee Smollett, a celebrated actress, finds herself entangled in a financial tug-of-war as her husband demands a share of her own hard-earned retirement funds. We're going to break it down and see is it legal. Also, tonight we're going to talk about the king of reggaeton, Daddy Yankee. He's embroiled in a $250 million lawsuit against guess who? His ex-wife and her sister. Ooh, that's messy. Not to mention reality TV star Kandi Burruss and her husband, Todd Tucker, are facing a hefty lawsuit over alleged unpaid rent, as well as property damages at their Atlanta restaurant. Then we're going to talk about Andrew Tate, a controversial influencer who's under investigation in Florida for potential crimes linked to human trafficking and exploitation. And lastly, oh my goodness, Diddy is starting to touch other celebrities. Oh, a woman has filed a lawsuit accusing Diddy, as well as Druski, the comedian Druski, as well as the NFL star Odell Beckham Jr., of a heinous act, and we're going to break that down. So buckle up as we dissect these cases with our panel of legal experts and you, our esteemed viewers, who will serve as the jury in the court of public opinion. But before we dive in, let's introduce our legal beagles. First up, joining us will be that fiery civil attorney, Shatan Turner. Shatan, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thanks for having me back, Your Honor. I'm excited to be here, and I'm sorry I missed you last weekend, but next time I will see you in real life.
I hope so. Also joining her will be the author of Shit They Never Taught You in Law School, the one and only author, Jason Weiss. Jason, welcome back to Celebrity Court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Very excited to be here and dive right on into these great stories.
And let's not forget, and yes, we're lucky to have the one and only, the Entertainment Esquire, Ashley.
Hi,
welcome
everyone.
back to Celebrity Court.
I'm going to try to do as many Mondays as I can. Happy. If you're a Black woman, I hopefully got your rest. I didn't, so I was doing it with you in spirit. So,
all right, Dr. Kim says, hey, Shatan.
Carter, I'm tired too.
Benicia Phillips says the lies surrounding Diddy has to stop. Drake wasn't even out back then. This is ridiculous. Damn, I'm about to give these women some money. This shit is pathetic. Oh, I know. It's crazy, right? Abby NYC, girl, I need a wing woman. Last night for my tramping. Oh, is she getting married? Pisces
No,
Unicorn said. She
Abby's
what?
always talking about tramping.
All right, and late to the party, but he is here. We
He's
have
getting dressed.
The only humorist at law. Sean Carter, you'll jump in when you get dressed. I mean, I see that you must have been taking care of the Black woman that's having your day at home.
He was putting in work while she was resting.
Court is now in session. First off the docket, we have actress Jurnee Smollett, known for her roles in like Lovecraft Country, as well as Birds of Prey. Well, guess what? Her ex-husband, who happens to be a musician, Hosea Bell, after receiving nearly $1 million in divorce settlement, is now demanding half of her 401k, in addition to her Screen Actors Guild pension. All right, they divorced in California, which happens to be a community property state, where assets acquired during a marriage are typically split equally. Now, this is the deal here. Smollett contends that much of her retirement savings were amassed before their union, sparking a debate over marital versus separate assets. So I'm going to throw to our resident divorce attorney, because she's going through one presently. I'm going to go to you, Attorney Turner. Tell me, under the California's community property laws, is Bill entitled to half of Smollett's retirement savings accrued during their marriage, even after that substantial settlement?
Apparently, because the judge said yes. What I'm trying to figure out is who Josiah Bell is. I mean, they call him a musician. He's got some song called Give It to God and Go to Sleep. And if he's got that kind of faith that's resulting in this kind of award, then I need to listen to that song, because this is some nonsense. Only Jesus could have resulted in what happened to Jurnee. I have loved Jurnee as an actress since she was in Eve's Bayou. And there's a line at the beginning of that movie that says, "The truth varies depending on the light." And I think the California community property statute needs to be viewed in a different light, right? The origins of these 50-50 states, community property states, has to do with the belief that both spouses contributed to the success of the union. And often, as it relates to women who are the higher earner, who have men who are not as productive as they are, that is just not true. And so the reason why these cases hit differently than the ones where the men are the higher earner is because everybody presumes, sometimes it's not true, so don't get me on generalities, but everyone presumes when women get married, they help their men because they're helpmates, right? And so they contribute to his success. They make it easier for him to, go to work and to
So why
focus
can't
on.
that be the case for the man then?
Because
It could
they
be
are
still
fooling
looking
that.
for a man who is trying to play that role. The problem is that the traditional vision of masculinity does not involve men as helpmates. And so what happens often.
Yeah, but this is a court of law.
I can attest firsthand. Well, no, but these laws are premised upon an antiquated model. Right.
So are we saying that it's okay for a woman helpmate to be compensated, but men helpmates are not? I'm just asking.
But I think that's what she's kind of saying. These men are not really helpmates. That's if they were actual helpmates.
They're exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying that Black woman needs her day of rest because she did not get it any day that she was married to him.
Yeah,
and we know that how.
Attorney Carter, are you gonna let this go down on our watch tonight? Is this,
hell no. Hell no.
Are we saying in this court right here that men that are stay-at-home moms are men that support their wives through their journey for their success, that they're not helpmates?
No. I'm saying no. What I'm saying is that you can't presume it. There's a lot of studies out there. The Pew Research Trust has done one in particular, and it supports that women who are the higher earner just don't get that kind of support. But these laws are premised on the fact that the lower earner is making contributions that were uncompensated, and the way that they get compensated for it is on the back end in the divorce. And I'm saying if you weren't actually helpful, then you ought not be able to benefit from these laws.
I agree. And a good
I got one word.
What's your word?
I don't know if I'm buying this.
I'm gonna give you.
I got one word.
Okay, what's the word?
Prenup.
Yes.
would have taken care of all of this.
So that's what I was going to
Okay,
get
before we go into the prenup, I want to hear Counselor Carter's thought on this.
I want to explain. So let me get this straight. So I guess what we're going to do is to make sure that the man is doing his share. We'll keep a journal throughout the whole marriage. Make sure every time I watch the kids, I get 3 points for that. Do I get 2% of the thing every time I bathe the kids? If I take them to daycare, do I get an extra 4%? What the hell? A marriage is a partnership. 50-50 down the line. You don't break it up.
I'm getting ready to give you the example.
Ladies.
I'm ready to give you the example. I agree with Attorney Sean Carter that you don't have to keep a journal. Clearly, I mean that's not what we're saying.
So how are we gonna know?
What we're saying is it should be evident. Let me give you an example of someone that just went through this, and I just interviewed them. She's a very high-profile Black attorney turned TV personality. Her name is Rachel Lindsay. She was the first Black bachelorette. I just interviewed her for the Black Lawyers podcast, and I was dancing around the subject, but I just had to ask, girl, why didn't you get a prenup? And she said, you know what? I asked for the prenup, and he convinced me because his parents had been married for 40 years. My parents had been married for 30 years and didn't have one, that we didn't need one. But she said, I actually asked for one, and I should have looked at it as a red flag that I did not ask for one. And
so it's not even a prenup.
But let me go to the point about someone not truly being the helpmate, because I know you're saying by default, if he made less, he should be considered the helpmate, right? And get money on the back end.
Right.
This guy strategically moved with her to California to support her dreams, but he was a chiropractor. Like, he had a practice. Like, it wasn't like he was this bum. She told me that he purposely stopped working because it was his plan to file for this divorce. So when they walked into divorce court, on paper, he wasn't really making anything. That is not a helpmate. They didn't have any children. I think they maybe had a couple of dogs.
Okay, but hold on, attorney
back in money.
Attorney Ashley, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We know that in that particular case that he did what was strategically advised by his lawyer. Women do it all the time.
Women do it
all the time. Women do it all the time.
And
hold on.
Hey,
I let you talk. Let me talk.
Okay.
Women do it all the time.
No,
all right.
This is not
we
the
see
same thing.
Women doing it now with these young athletes.
No,
they set these young athletes
apples and oranges. Apples and oranges.
They set these
Those
young men
women never had jobs in the first place. They weren't even high. You're looking at a man that had a chiropractor business purposely not working and wants to look like the helpmate and get money on the back end.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Okay. 1 second. You've got to look at it. If you want to do apples to apples and oranges to oranges.
Yeah.
That man, just like anybody else who's being legally advised, did what the lawyer said because he knew that there was no prenup there.
But that's you're not a helpmate, though. You're not a helpmate. You weren't at home.
Listen, he may not be a helpmate, but legally, he's defined as a helpmate. And legally, she got into this marriage without her proper paperwork, and she got do-si-doed. She got do-si-doed by the legal system. Period.
I understand that.
Well, here's the thing, Your Honor.
What legally has happened. What we're saying is, as Shatan said, if the law was made because, again, comparing apples to apples, typically women that come into relationships that are not making as much, they were never making any money. It wasn't like they were this big lawyer or a big doctor and they just stopped working and they said, oh, I just want to get my money on the back end. They were already housewives. They weren't already financially really ever bringing anything to the table other than their looks and taking care of the children. That's what they. Oh my God,
this is a horrible conversation.
No, but what I'm saying is you're trying to compare apples to oranges. I'm saying if a man truly is the helpmate, like you said, he's not making as much. He's letting the superstar live her dream, and he truly is the helpmate in the house. And absolutely, he deserves, like you said, the communal property stuff. If the woman
and I'm saying to you that just because you are a woman doesn't make you a helpmate. Just
but let's go forward.
But more times than not, she is though. More times than not,
out there that
more
don't
times than
work.
not,
But
she's
you
helping
know-
those children. She's helping with the
here's-
house.
You're trying to apply micro logic to a macro issue. What I am saying is that there is research. The Pew Research Trust, which is very reputable, has studied
we
this
all know what
issue.
the Pew Research Trust is. I'm very
They've
familiar
studied
with
this
it.
issue, and based on all of the interviews that they've done, what they have concluded is that higher earning women do not get the benefit of the same thing in a relationship that higher earning men do. I have to say, when I was single back way in the day, I was reluctant to even tell men that I was a lawyer because it's not viewed as attractive. But all the men like Sean Carter and Jason Wise out there go into a bar and say they're a lawyer, all of a sudden people flock to them because it's viewed, and it's your looks too, Attorney Carter, don't get it twisted. But it's viewed as a positive and a plus. And there are women who grow up wanting to marry a lawyer so that they don't have to work and they can take care of the kids.
And you find that that's a cool strategy.
I'm not saying it's a cool
So
strategy.
when you find yourself, okay, but this is the deal. When you find yourself on the opposite end of that strategy, then whose fault is that?
I'm saying that for women, they never get to be on the opposite end of the strategy because the men aren't contributing to the household in the way that the women are contributing to those households.
Listen, I refuse to believe that all men are trifling or that all men don't contribute to the household.
Nobody's saying all men are trifling.
So we're not saying all women are helpmates then.
Exactly. I'm not saying they are. What I'm saying is they are. What I'm saying is that the law is designed to reflect a reality that is not always true. That's all I'm saying.
That's true with everything. But they understand that the law has to be a general thing that we don't go in from time to time, because otherwise, here's what man's going to do. I'm going to go in, he's going to go in and say, hey, you know what? I didn't get a blowjob on the 29th. By the way, that's part of your responsibility. Take off 5,000. And by the way, the time you didn't look cute and my mama, it's like we don't do that. We simply say for a general purpose, we're going to set up a general set of rules that say half and half. Right. Because otherwise, we're going to have to fight for every single thing in the marriage. The time you did the dishes, the time you didn't go out. We don't want to, it's already contentious enough. We can't have a legal system that says men get 20% unless they can prove with these receipts that they bathed the kids and changed this many diapers. It's not a workable legal system. We have to have a legal system that says it's 50-50.
All right, really quickly. Hold on. Ladies, please give the man time to talk. We've heard what you've had to say. Let's go to Jason. Jason, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on this?
I thought Anthony Edwards would be happy with a $5,000 blowjob. That's all I got to say. If he's spending $10 million to have sex with a woman to have the kid, but again, prenup, and look, California is a community property state. Whatever's brought in there is divided 50-50, and that's what it's supposed to be. You don't want that? Don't move to California. Move to Florida. Move to New York. Move somewhere else.
Okay,
and again,
move to Pennsylvania, but because the equitable distribution here isn't equitable. But here's the thing with Jurnee: the reason that this case has gotten a lot of attention is not for the reasons I was bringing up. I was getting too distracted about my personal situation,
exactly,
where my hard-earned dollars are not being equitably done, and there's somebody who's getting paid to live with their girlfriend. But anyway, in Jurnee's case, the issue is that he was arguing for 50-50 distribution of the accrual of her retirement during the marriage. And what she mentioned is that she made most of the principal before she even met him. She started working when she was 3 years old. So in some respects, this is a very unique claim because you don't have child stars often who have that much money. Like her earning, I forget how old she is now. What's she, like 43 or something? She's been working for 40 years, right? And so now she doesn't even have the ability to enjoy the full fruits of her labor that she earned before she was even old enough to date. So that's why this is such an interesting case.
Yeah.
Okay, so I get that. And I understand that. And I respect that. And I agree to it. But that's not where we stand with the law, right? Because clearly, if that's where we stood with the law, the judge would not have awarded him half. So let's stick to the legal aspect of this. Sean Carter. So
yeah, let's be clear, because I actually took a look at this myself.
he
to make
has
sure.
he has a right to it.
Maybe,
right?
maybe. They already had a finalized divorce settlement in 2021. And so he's going back now and saying, hey, we didn't do that right. And that's usually you don't get that second bite at the apple unless the first time they really didn't cover this a lot. So they'll have to answer, did they already talk about this? If they have already talked about it, she wins. But to be clear, we're not talking about her childhood earnings. She has been working. I took a look from the time they were married, 2010 to 2024. She's done 9 movies and 4 TV shows, including, 5 TV shows, several TV, including a Lovecraft. So she's been working this whole time. And so it's not like he's going to take that money from, that child show she did. Ease by you. We're talking about the money from the stuff she's been doing while they were married.
The retirement income, here's why it gets to be complicated. And I'm assuming she had a good forensic accountant, but I don't know. The reason is that he wants the accrual during that time period. And she's saying that the majority of the principal was accrued before she met him. And so that's the piece that's interesting. I think you're right, Attorney Carter. If you live in California, you get screwed if you don't have a prenup because it's 50-50 of the earnings. But the accrual during that time period, a lot of that is the time value of money. And she made a lot of that money before she met him. So someone should have gone through, subtracted what it would have been worth out, taken all that childhood money out of it, tried to
so why don't they just do a look back? Why don't they do a look back to the date? What was the account worth at 2010? So anything from her childhood to 2010, they would not be in the calculation. Anything from 2010 to 2025, any growth in the portfolio, then they would give him access to that.
Well, remember the market exploded and took a big dive in 2008. And so the reason the math is somewhat complicated is because you would also have to, you could do it the way you said, but he would get an unjust enrichment, in my opinion, because you're still using the principal as the base for the increase. So someone would have to try to anticipate what would have been worth if she had just had what she made during the marriage and how that increased. And that's really the question.
So that would be her contribution to her retirement during the marriage.
But in the absence of a prenup, right, for the algorators, one of the things you can do, which is recommended, is don't contribute any more to the 401k you had before you met them. Like, that's going to screw you a little bit because you're not going to have as large of a principal for the percentage. But then it's clear, to the point you're making, that all of the contributions that you make during the marriage, that you should only look at that. Like, if you've killed it on Wall Street before you get married, and now you're like a teacher because you wanted to follow your passion, you probably should only contribute to the 401k at the school and leave your
no longer the
Wall
one
Street money. Right. And so then
that's why everyone dated Wall Street man, because they knew that we got stock options. Our financial package was very lucrative and attractive. And they knew that whatever they put in during the marriage, they were going to get a significant exit strategy.
I just feel like Jurnee can't get a break. Her brother was lying all over these streets, and now her bank account and her retirement is being taken.
I feel sorry for her, but I feel sorry, but I don't, because I would think someone who's so sophisticated in Hollywood, who have access to the best of everything, she should have had a better legal advisor. All right, really quickly, I want to thank Melina NC for your super chat. Thank you, Melina. Also want to thank Venetia Edwards. Thank you for your super chat. Thank you so much for all your support for the show. And I guess we spent so much time on here. Let's keep it moving, everybody. All right, next up. Next, we turn to reggaeton superstar Daddy Yankee. Now, this is a very interesting case that's been going on for years. He's filed a $250 million. I want to make sure we understand. He's filed a $250 million lawsuit against his ex-wife, Mercedes Gonzalez, and her sister, Aisha Gonzalez Castellanos. Okay? The lawsuit alleges that the sisters mismanaged funds, breached contracts, and defamed him, resulting in significant financial losses of his music empire, including El Cartel Records and Los Congress Incorporated, notably, I guess, right? Notably, Daddy Yankees claims that they also, in addition to the $250,000, I guess, they withdrew $100 million from his company accounts without authorization. Okay, Jason, I want to go to you on this. Now, they were married. She was an officer of the company by design. But now he's saying, you know, at the time, she played her role. She got to do what she wanted to do. Now that I'm divorcing her and I'm looking back, she has exercised some indiscretions along with her sister that now I want this back. How is that possible?
So it doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that, look, they were married for 30 years. And he said that she was disorganized. She was reckless in her management. Some of the things that there are uncashed royalty checks that were never taken care of. There are some notes. There are some royalties that he should have gotten. So there's a lot of things having to do with recklessness, lack of due diligence. Now, to be totally blunt, chances are he probably would have kept his mouth shut, but there's some defamation going on here. And I think a lot of this has to do with retaliation. Look, you want to attack me? All right, I'm going to come back and I'm going to attack you. You cost me millions of dollars because I had unpaid royalty things. You were disorganized. You were reckless. We have financial losses, and it's all because of you.
Okay.
The other thing that we got to keep in mind is all of this is going down in Puerto Rico. It's not here in the continental U.S. It's in Puerto Rico, and the laws there are very different than they are here. And there's going to be this is what I read. This is going to be the hottest case in Puerto Rico possibly ever. So again, you know, the mere fact if these two ladies would have kept their mouths shut and not defamed him, I have a feeling this would have gone away. But because they brought all this up and they did everything, you know, he's going after them on the attack.
Okay,
and look,
so let's
this is the flip side to the case that we just talked about, right? Because
that's what I want to talk about.
Yep. And
why are the ladies so quiet now? Why so quiet now, ladies?
He was the one. So think about it this way: he was the one that went out and earned all of this. She was helping by running the business, running the financial affairs, running all of this. But her help,
entertainment, Esquire. Let's talk about it, ladies. Okay, Jason,
millions.
got it. We got it, ladies.
Yes.
How about this? $100 million. $100 million, ladies.
She tried to work. She tried to work. She could have stayed at home.
Josiah did nothing.
Right. This woman at least worked. Did she do a good job? No, but at least she actually worked in the office.
But she took $100 million out of his account without his permission.
Well, maybe
Scandalous.
she felt the need to use it on some household things, some kid stuff, or some lifestyle stuff. They were living together. They were married. It wasn't like they were living in separate houses.
Attorney Carter, help me out here.
I'm sure he benefited from that withdrawal of $100 million.
Attorney Carter, if your wife misappropriated $100 million, what would go down in your household?
Nothing. It's half her money. But we actually believe in a marriage where it's a partnership. We don't keep score. So all of it's ours and all of it's ours. But that's different. I understand it's an antiquated concept. But as far as this is concerned, you know, here's the thing is, I just need to see her receipts for how many diapers she changed, how much help meeting she was doing, because if we don't get those receipts, then she ain't getting none of this $250 million. That's all I know.
Her helpmate status was not just what she did with the kids.
You are not a helpmate if you are taking $100 million from my account. You are not a helpmate. You are a thief.
As an employee.
I hope my wife.
A thief.
I hope my wife found $100 million and took it.
They were married. It wasn't like they were living separately.
You know what I find? Seriously, quiet for 1 second. Everybody, 1 second. This is what I find so interesting. You guys are so professional, top of your game, some of the best lawyers in the business. But look at the bias that exists within the legal
bias.
structure.
It's apples and oranges. This woman not only raised the kids and helped
Look at
the
the bias.
He was an
Top law
employee.
schools here.
He
Top
works
law firms here. Look at the bias that everybody.
Yeah.
You can get a lawyer.
It's apples and oranges.
I'm just saying you can get a lawyer just like these two ladies when it comes to divorces, right? They go very hard on not just legal but also personal. Right, I'm just saying.
Right, lawyers are human. Contrary to popular belief, lawyers are human.
And you have to apply the facts to. You have to apply the law to the set of facts. I think this is the phrase for this.
If you're going to convince me that woman was anything short of a thief, you can stop it right now.
I'm just letting you know
$100 million of that man's money.
Judge, Your Honor. The word of the phrase of the evening is apples and oranges. I think we just keep doing apples. We got to do apples to apples. Not only was she the wife and the mom of his children, so that's one thing that she was doing. She actually was an employee. She was working. Now, her outside of that, messing up the money, taking some money that she shouldn't have, that's a whole separate issue. But clearly she was contributing because she was an employee, a wife, and a mom.
I gotta
Your Honor, don't dismiss what she's saying because there are two separate tracks. You have the attorney Sean Carter wifely track where you're wearing slips and giving blowjobs, right? And you're not keeping score. And then you have the Daddy Yankee problem, which he was married to an employee who may have engaged in grand larceny, right? So that's the issue. If she stole money, then she stole money, and that should be prosecuted. But don't confuse that with what
Attorney Carter, what say you?
Yeah, let me be clear here. My wife is doing more than just blowjobs. She actually works in our family business. Although, I'm not complaining about the other part either, but I'm simply saying she works in the family business. She has access to the money. I never would go to her and say, you stole my money because it's our money. But that's just weird. I'm weird that way. All right. And the bottom line is, when you get married to somebody, it's your money.
You know about that $100 million, but there's no way Daddy Yankee did not see that transfer of $100 million.
It's not 100. You don't know. Nobody writes $100 million check. That's not even, nobody knows how many zeros that is. That's 3,000 here, 8,000 here.
Aware of it. He can't.
It's 200,000 here. No, I have no idea how much money is in our bank account right now.
It doesn't say that it was $100 million in one check. It was $100 million
overall.
Exactly.
So
over years.
That proves my point even more. They were living in the same household. If she was moving money around, he benefited for her moving that money
around. I wish you would steal $100 million from me. You are going to jail.
I would like my wife to steal $100 million from me. Please do it because I don't have $100, give or take $100 million. So,
all right, Colette Davis says exactly, Attorney Carter. I agree with your antiquated view. Abby NYC says he is the cheap penny pincher. He is trying to bargain down the blow those. Attorney Carter, they got your ass. JP Bill says that's her payroll payment. Dr. Kim says not slips and blowjobs.
We're making a new song. It's called
Colette Davis says, I want the ladies apples and oranges. Oh my God, this is a horrible. They were like, watches the leap. Okay. Okay, no, you did not miss the Druski tea. Is it Women's Month? Watch out. It's Women's Month. You know it. I mean, we unleashed the beast in here. These black women are letting us have it. All right. Pisces Unicorn says, yikes, ladies, we're fighting for our lives tonight.
We are.
Thank you, Todd and Ashley, for holding us down. Really? Okay, Karens. All right, next up. Reality TV star Kandi Burruss and her husband Todd Tucker are facing a whopping $210,000 lawsuit alleging unpaid rent and property damages to their Atlanta establishment, Blaze Steak and Seafood. The landlord claims that they've been evading payment and now face potential eviction if the debt isn't properly settled. All right, we're going to go to you, Attorney Carter. Ashley and Attorney Shaitan. Let's go to you, Shaitan. This is what I need to know. All right. What legal obligations do commercial tenants have regarding timely rent payment and property maintenance?
I mean, that's what a lease is called. The lease indicates what the duties are for the tenant to the landlord. And so the terms of the lease dictate what's supposed to happen. It tells you how much the rent is, when the rent is due, and the obligations to maintain the property. So it's very idiosyncratic depending on the relationship. There's some things that are standard, but some things can be tweaked based on, what the parties want.
I'm dying. Criminality Online says,
I
I'll wait for that Slips and Blowjob remix.
I'm sorry. I'm the one responsible.
I got distracted by that comment.
Todd is on one tonight, baby.
I got distracted by that comment too.
I'm done. So this is my question then to you, Attorney Weiss, because you've represented people, especially personalities that own businesses.
Mm-hmm.
How do you separate this lawsuit, which is obviously related to the business, from the person?
Look, the landlord says it doesn't matter who the tenant is. You owe me rent, pay your rent. You haven't paid your rent. I have eviction rights. Maybe if you have a good relationship with your tenant, you give them a little bit of leeway. If it's due 3 days after the first of the month, maybe you give them 5 days, maybe you give them 10 days, you send notices. But it doesn't matter who owns it, right? It is flat out, look, you owe the mortgage. Think about it this way, right? If you own the building that the restaurant is operating out of, you probably have a mortgage or a note on that as well. So you need that rent income to pay the bank, to pay that, to pay your vendors, to pay your insurance, to pay all this. Now, all of a sudden, the landlord or the owner of the building, they are acting as a bank to these tenants. And these tenants are out there making money, selling food, doing their thing, and not paying their landlord. So look, it's $154,000 in rent that is unpaid, property repairs, overhead fees, interest fees, late fees. This is going to be, by the time it gets filed in court, $300,000 plus.
Wow. So let me ask you this. Okay. Professor Sagittarius said, I think it's a money grab from the landlord. Kandi always pays her bills. Sounds like there was an issue with the building.
And if there is an issue with the building, I was going to say, so sometimes you stop paying rent in landlord-tenant court because there's a mitigating circumstance, like something wasn't fixed. And to Shatan's point, there could be something in the agreement that allows you to hold off. But what you do is you still pay the rent, but you usually put it into, I forget what they call it.
Court registry. The registry of the court.
Register, and you say, hey, I'm going to put it in here to show that we're paying it. But the landlord doesn't get this money until they fix what they're supposed to do. Also, because go ahead.
And a lot of leases also won't allow you to do offset, meaning that you go ahead and you fix the air conditioner and you're going to say it was $10,000 to fix the AC, so I'm going to deduct that from the rent. You're usually not allowed to do that. That's where you go ahead and put that. But no, the court registry is basically what you do
it, because like I said, Kandi pays her bills and she's a multimillionaire even before Real Housewives of Atlanta. Something doesn't sound right. Also, because I love loopholes because contracts are my thing. One of the loopholes of getting around, if they just want to like abandon the building and go on with their lives, I guarantee you they put it in an LLC. I doubt Kandi and Todd are individually responsible.
Right. And so they could just bankrupt the LLC or dissolve it.
Right. It's going to fall to LLC, which is an entity. The only time you can kind of pierce what they call the corporate veil and make the individuals responsible for the businesses, debts and things like that, if you can show that there was something maybe purposeful done or maliciously done, you can kind of pierce the corporate veil. But typically this is why a lot of times I tell my celebrity clients, you need to just get LLCs, put things to protect your personal money and interest. So if things go south, the LLC takes the hit and not you. So
and just don't
hold on. Let me ask this question before I forget it because I'm old. All right. You said there's a registry for or register or something for commercial clients.
Mm-hmm.
How about people that just have regular rental, like a regular?
Yes.
Yeah, you can do it that way too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you have a regular residential,
if you have something going on with your apartment and the landlord has not fixed it,
yeah, you can pay
put
it in
it
the registry.
Do they have to agree to it?
No. And a lot of times it's from the flip side, right? The landlord will be the one saying to the tenant, hey, you didn't pay rent. And the tenant's like, well, this is broken and that's broken. So you move to evict. And then the landlord files a motion usually saying, look, I just want them putting the money into the court registry while we work all this out, because otherwise they're living there for free. And 6 months from now, when the court finally hears it, they're going to get out of here and I'm out 6 months worth of rent. So the court registry, it does work both sides. So you need to be careful about using it.
All right, this is good information, guys. This is great information. Great information. All right, everybody, please be sure, especially after tonight's show, please hit the like button. Also, please hit the subscribe button. If you're already subscribed, please hit the share button and invite your friends over to see and hear about these slips and blowjobs.
Y'all know how much trouble I'm in. I gotta stay in
the I feel so sorry for you. Also, don't forget to turn on your notification, and as always, jump down in the chat. All right, case number 4. Controversial influencer Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan, who are a very attractive duo, are under investigation by Florida's Attorney General for potential crimes related to alleged, yes, you heard me correct, human trafficking and exploitation networks. I need a lawyer to break down what that means. But before that, authorities are examining whether illegal activities occurred on U.S. soil because they've been extradited to be on trial in Romania. All right, I'm going to go to you, Jason, on that. So explain to me, how do you get potential crimes related to alleged human trafficking and exploitation? What is an exploitation network?
So my understanding is it's basically it's what you think about, right? It's you bring these women to the United States with a promise that you will go ahead and you can have a life here. And when they get here, what is their life? Well, their life is basically being pimped out, being a prostitute. And these gentlemen. So think about it. It's basically what you see on TV every single day. They come to the United States, here we go, and then we're going to pimp you out, and we're going to make you, perform for men, and we're going to take all the money, and eventually you can, quote unquote, earn your freedom or buy your freedom.
Wow, that's crazy. So basically they use their celebrity as influencers because
Correct.
They're very well known in the United States to the tune of they're good friends with Donald Trump. And
Yes.
the rumor on the street is that they're such close friends with Trump that he could possibly pardon them. So they use their celebrity in the United States, which was built off of them being kickboxers, right?
Right.
In
So
the UFC.
So Tate put something out on X that says the Tates will be free. Trump is the president. The good old days are back and they will be better than ever. That's what he said. So supposedly, Trump didn't know anything about the Tates coming back to the United States. And that, but who knows?
Can you clarify these Tates for the people in the audience?
They're two brothers.
Two brothers
that were one of them was a kickboxer. They're both influencers. I had to look them up before the show just to see who they were, but they're kickboxers, they're influencers, and they got arrested and detained in Romania. They lifted the travel ban. They came to the United States, and of course, where do they come to the United States?
Donald Trump.
Florida, because it's Mar-a-Lago, and they're probably hanging out there. That's just a guess. I don't know it for a fact, so fact check here.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Does the fact of what they got going on in America affect what they got going on in charges in Romania?
No, completely separate. And look, I mean, you could make an inference and you could take what's called judicial notice. So if something happens in the Romania court, you can drag it here into the United States court, vice versa. It's called judicial notice. If it's out there, if you can see it in the papers, if you could see it in a court pleading, you can use it either for or against you in another case. But they're completely tied. They could be found completely exonerated in Romania and charged to the fullest degree here in Florida, or vice versa.
All right, Attorney Carter, let me ask you this really quickly.
Mhm.
What, as it relates to the United States, what legal strategies might the Tate's defense employ to counter these serious allegations? Like, what could their defense be?
here's the weird part is all of this is all political and all posturing by both sides. So what happens is last month, the Tates are in house arrest in Romania. They've got these Romanian charges of sex trafficking against them. Trump's special presidential envoy for special missions, I didn't even know it was a thing, calls Romania and says, hey, let our boys out. We'll keep them here in the U.S. and then we will make sure that they come back for trial. Okay.
Get out here just because they're attractive kickboxers.
Well, remember, super attractive. That one that's kind of tall. Put the picture back up on the screen.
Yeah, put the picture. I mean, the big thing is that they're remember
just to let you know, Ashley, they're both models, former models.
I don't know, one is definitely more attractive than the other when you put that picture up there.
The Tates actually, their big thing though is that they are anti-woke. They have their Hustler Academy where they teach men how to, dominate women and et cetera, et cetera. So he's fitting into Trump's base. He's a Trump supporter, et cetera. This is Trump's move to signal to his people, say, hey, I got your back. I'm going to get your head pedophile or your head abuser out of prison. Now, when it gets to Florida, they go to Florida. I don't know why they go to Florida. They have no connection to Florida. And DeSantis doesn't like that. DeSantis says, hey, we got enough sex offenders here in Florida already. All right, we're full up. And so you need to get these fools out of here. We'll initiate investigation. Here's the weird thing is, the investigation is only could be applicable to crimes that they've committed in the state of Florida. Okay. To my knowledge, they've never even been to Florida before. Right? He is bringing this thing basically just saying, if you don't get out of here, we're going to be on your ASS all the time. We're gonna be pulling you. You black in Florida, all right? you only half black or about third black everywhere else, but you black here. You Wesley Snipes black in Florida, all right?
I agree. If there are no crimes in Florida, they can't charge them in Florida. But
exactly, we just gonna
look for something if you stay long enough. So.
Maybe that's why they chose Florida.
Federal.
Oh, this is federal.
Right. Maybe to your point, but still, shouldn't there be some contacts? Shouldn't they got to be some contacts to Florida? No, because even Diddy has a New York federal case.
Yeah, exactly. I took a look, and they were born in Ohio. They grew up in England. They went to he was on Big Brother UK. He had this internet proposal, but he was all over Europe. He doesn't really have a lot of connections to the U.S. and somehow, but he has half citizenship because his father was a black man from Ohio. Interesting guy, chess master. But the point is, though, is that he has citizenship. So he does have that tie here.
You said one of these people is half black. Who's half black?
Andrew.
I didn't know that. Okay. I did sense a little flavor in his look. Okay.
Well, he light-skinned it.
Women have no shame.
No, I did sense a little.
Have no shame.
I have like a
all you horny female lawyers.
Just saying. I mean,
he's got good bone structure.
He does. But I sense a little flavor with him.
Todd, you cannot date any more men with good bone structure, okay? Get over your bone structure, okay? Thank you very much. Speaking of bone structure, lastly, we turn to a case that has sent shockwaves through the entertainment and sports world. A woman named Ashley Parham has filed an amended lawsuit accusing music mogul Sean Diddy Combs, comedian Druski, and NFL star Odell Beckham Jr. of participating in a gang, sexual assault in 2018. The lawsuit alleges that Parham was assaulted at a residence in Orinda, California, with each defendant playing a role in the alleged incident. All three have vehemently denied the allegation, citing lack of evidence. Wow. So they're saying lack of evidence, not that they didn't do it, but lack of evidence. And previous investigations that found the claims to be unfounded. Woo, this is tough. Let's go to you, Shaitan. But first, let's go to Attorney Carter. Attorney Carter, Sean Carter. Given that the Contra Costa Sheriff's Department previously investigated this and deemed these claims unfounded, how are they able to come back on the civil side and sue? And what is the impact of that?
Yeah, and that's a narrow case, because basically they didn't say, when the police decline to press charges, they don't say the person's innocent. They simply say we don't have enough evidence to bring a case beyond a reasonable doubt. But remember, we talk about the civil case doesn't have that standard. The standard of proof is a lot lower in a civil case. So even if you can't bring a criminal case, you might be able to bring a civil case. So the fact that in 2018 they examined this and said there's not enough evidence to bring a criminal case doesn't mean she doesn't have a case civilly. The second thing is, it adds to her credibility a little bit that she brought this up in 2018. That's the last credibility she has. We can get into the rest of it, but she at least got that little bit.
She at least has that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Is it me, or is that the weirdest foursome I've ever seen? Allegedly.
Well, first of all, there's some people in the comments that don't know a lot about what happened. So let's just quickly say what happened. So essentially, this is an amended complaint, because originally, I know you can't keep up with Diddy, but the reason why this one should ring a bell, this is the lawsuit where she claims she went back and was assaulted with a remote. Diddy literally assaulted her with a remote. So this is why this story, even though Diddy has like 1 million lawsuits out here at this point, I remember this lawsuit because she said that he assaulted her with the remote and then had other celebrities assault her while he basically pleasured himself in front of these celebrities. But she never named them. She never named who they were. She amended the complaint to name them now. So this is not
but she's also saying that Druski and Odell had some type of physical interaction, relations with her.
Yes. So these are the other celebrities that she didn't name them before. So before they were like celebrity, like John Doe A, John Doe B. They were always in the complaint. She just never said who they were. She amended the complaint, kind of like with Jay-Z. Remember the complaint said celebrity A, male, celebrity female. You're right. And then she went and amended it and said, oh, it was Jay-Z and this other female celebrity that I'm not going to name yet. Of course, that's been tossed since then. But this is not a new suit. This was a suit that was kind of shocking because supposedly Diddy got mad with her because she claimed that he had something to do with Suge Knight and supposedly retaliated against her by luring her back to this apartment where he assaulted her with a remote, had 2 other celebrities assault her while he pleasured himself. And then there was also his assistant. I believe her name is Khurram. She's, I don't know if she's Persian. His very famous assistant supposedly also was there and watching it. She's actually also in this lawsuit. So this is not a new lawsuit. It's just amended to add names. I think what's shocking about this is you got Druski and Odell Beckham. I get that they were friends, but she's placing them in this lawsuit and doing this to her. And what also is shocking is she mentions that it wasn't just a sexual assault, that they took oils from Diddy, oils that had drugs in them, and slathered her with those oils to kind of dehabilitate her. And not to give you any visual images, but here we go, that Druski jumped on top of her and like slid, and she recalls it because he was so heavy sliding on her with the oils that it's not something that she would forget. But
what drug are they on? I need to try it.
But the way she tells the story in the admitted complaint,
because I'm living a boring life over here, baby.
They slathered her in this.
I like my boring life.
This oil, that the drugs that are supposedly this oil that they keep saying that were at some of the Diddy's parties that was laced with stuff. Yes. They say they oiled her down, and Druski jumped on top of her and like slid. And I don't mean to laugh, but I'm just getting a visual of this. Yeah. It's just very hard to believe. I don't know.
Well, you don't live a boring life at all. You party hard, but the problem is that there's a big difference between regular partying and this ish, right? Like once you get the drugged baby oil, you get 2 overweight men, and
then you got Diddy with a remote.
Yeah, and you got Diddy with the remote. In retaliation because she said that Diddy got Tupac killed, right? Yeah. That's what we're talking about. So it's funny. We've said like all roads lead back to Diddy, but in truth, all of this apparent confusion and depravity all goes back to Tupac and Biggie's murders. Like, how many times can you talk about that in 2025, talking about this is the origin of X beef or X problem? I mean, to Ashley's point, though, this one hits different, right? So we have the children who've been assaulted. That was reprehensible. You know, there may have been some midgets at some point, like, I'm not sure. But you have this one, and this one has actual assault, sexual assault, drugs,
torturing,
and retaliation for one of the biggest mysteries in, like, murder mysteries of all time. So this is different. This has all of the elements.
You know what I find so interesting is every single one of his stories have the same conversations in it. There's always some form of drug. There's always some baby oil. There's always some form of self-pleasuring while watching other people. It's like it's recording. It's just weird. It's weird.
It's weird, but unfortunately, I think this is going to mess up the prosecution against Diddy. And here's why I say this. We had the one case in every time someone brings in someone else, they brought in Jay-Z, that story seemed to fall apart. This particular woman's story looks like it's falling apart. One, she says Druski was at the Diddy party in March of 2018. Druski didn't start his YouTube channel until October of 2017. He says, I wasn't that famous back then. And I imagine he wasn't. You go to you in 6 months, he can get from starting a YouTube channel to a Diddy party.
Yeah, but what benefit would she have by throwing him in the mix?
I don't know. Here's why, because
that is my issue.
Now you will remember if Druski oared you down and jumped on you.
Exactly, but here's the thing is
you're not.
No, I agree. I agree. If you are,
you're not making that shit up.
Women and Odell presumably has an agent in the calendar. He says I was doing something else. He might be able to provide receipts. If that's the case, we're going to have 3 times that people have been lied on explicitly, and then people are going to say, hey, all you do is you pick up this narrative about Diddy and the baby oil, and next thing you know, you just push everybody into it. And now I don't even know if I can believe the Diddy and baby oil because everybody keeps making up stuff.
I agree.
And by the way, if you have ever been to a Diddy party, I haven't.
I have.
I'm encouraging you to go get your calendars. All right. And make sure you have all those dates in question because people will accuse you of anything, including slip and slide.
Yeah.
Attorney Carter, I want to be a little bit of a conspiracy theorist, though.
Okay,
right?
let's go.
So the calendars may be actual evidence, or they might be fabricated, right? Because what do we know from watching CSI? You need an alibi when you get accused, right? And so we need more information. I do agree to what the other attorney Carter said. Like, these are big men, right? So did it happen? Probably, but maybe she wasn't getting business cards when people were putting the baby oil on her with the drugs and stuff, and maybe they were lookalikes. And so that'll be the unfortunate thing, to your point. Like, it was just some black dude that looked like them, and that's who she thought it was, but it wasn't that actual person.
Ain't everybody out here looking like Odell Beckham? Sorry, everybody out here ain't looking like Druski.
They both have the blonde hair, and so
and lots.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's tough because it's almost like, of all the people, these people are so
how did you choose those?
What do you have to gain by making it up that they did it?
Right.
So it's almost like, okay, maybe it really did happen to her, but maybe it wasn't necessary. These individuals, but the point is, Sean Carter is right. If they can show receipts, like real receipts that they were somewhere else on that day or whatever, like he said, I wasn't even that famous, so maybe he can prove he was somewhere else that day. I mean, if they have some real receipts, again,
those two will be able to get out of it. Those two will be able to get out of it.
I think they'll be able to get out of it.
Can't get out of it. I think like someone said, Melanie A. Wine said, Wins says, cell towers always land an alibi. So
absolutely.
Cell towers. You're pinging your phone where you're pinging.
Oh yeah,
where you were located. I think
maybe he can see if he sent text messages that
day. All 3 of them. See if they're pinging around that date. Where are the calls at that date? That's a good point.
Or maybe she got her dates wrong too. I mean, that's possible.
Thank you for that. All right, everybody.
Daniel
This is the
Cameron
time.
said wants to know where she was supposed to put the business cards when she was only wearing baby oil.
They just stick.
I still
Bell
can't over her
Rice.
using him like a slip and slide.
Bell Rice.
Out of my head.
Bell Rice says Al went to a Diddy party. He needs to spill the tea. Hey, the ones that I went to the PG ones.
Oh,
You know, the ones before the after 2 a.m.
Right. He went to the pre-games.
Yeah, I went to the pre-games. I didn't go to I wasn't and y'all know I do a lot of stuff now.
You know.
But, I'm not
Now,
like,
what do you like about Daniel Cameron had a really good interesting idea here. I think you'll like this, Your Honor. Mama Combs and her bad wig is finding these people to lie to weaken the validity of the real cases.
could be. I know it shouldn't be a strategy, but it is a strategy. Like you said, if everybody that files a case, it falls apart. After a while, it's like, oh, it just looks like everybody is just banned.
yeah, it's just so weird. It's just
Don't
the
sleep
whole
on
thing is
Mama
weird.
Combs, though. She, like I said the other night, she's the original gangster. She would
is.
know how to
She
get
is.
stuff done. But you're right, Your Honor. Like the whole notion, the part that's super weird, like so the baby oil and the drugs, that's weird. That was, I agree with you, the oddest foursome I've ever heard of. Although I'm sure we could put some together that would be like even odder still. But the notion that Diddy had a remote that he was
And
using
use
as a
that.
weapon,
That's disgusting.
then you have the weird
just like a
image
whole
of
nother
him
level.
doing what he was accused of doing to himself. There you go.
Oh
Jason.
God, he's got a
Yeah.
remote.
It's just
We didn't need a visual, Jason. It's like
Yeah.
exhibit A and B.
A and B.
can't
You know what
unsee it.
cracks me up is I hate to say this, but you know, as men, we compare ourselves to remotes, right?
No, you don't, do you?
Yes, we
Like your
do. We
penis?
take pictures of our to
I
let
thought it
women
was
know.
sausages.
No,
We don't all do that.
No, we don't.
I've never heard of that.
you guys, I know, ladies,
I don't know
I
what
know
you're
that
talking
you guys have seen.
Al,
a
you're
video.
talking to the two old married guys.
I
So
don't know what you're talking about, Al.
I've seen men compare it to like my
Like the
arm, but
arm.
I've never seen it compared to
Oh,
like
remote.
Yes, they put it up. They put it next to.
Nah,
Next
this
to a
is new.
remote. All right, algorithm, jump down in the chat and tell me I'm not crazy.
Yes. Can somebody say, has anybody
That's
else
a
heard
common
of this?
measuring stick. So that's what we should ask them in these streets.
Yes, you
Female
want to see
attorney
what
Carter,
it
like, how do you
up?
see,
compare?
they make these things
Yeah.
called rulers.
I'll keep this in mind.
Oh, Colette
Thanks,
Davis. Colette Davis says, "Well, I hope it's larger than a Roku remote."
Yeah, I was gonna say.
You guys,
Wait,
are
I'll
all-
never. Somebody said I'll never look at a remote the same way again. I'm the same way. I can't look at remotes the same way after reading this
God, that's
complaint.
hilarious.
I have
All right.
nightmares.
All right, everybody, please hit that like button if you enjoyed tonight's show. Also, hit that subscribe button if you already subscribed. Hit the share button and invite the folks over.
Someone asked, how long is the average remote?
Oh, okay, well, hold on. Let me get through.
It's an Al Reynolds.
Let me get
That's
through
the
my
new
call of
measuring
action, please.
unit.
Turn
He
on
needs a
your
yardstick.
water in my car. Turn on your notifications. And don't drop down in the comments anymore.
We learned something new. I'm just saying you learn something new every day. So
All
now
right,
they compared themselves to remotes. This is new.
Oh my God. This is the part of the show that we
A
go back
remote
to the
size
cases
penis
and
isn't
we- and
everything,
we
but I bet
give
it's
our-
useful.
We give our verdict. These lawyers love to talk. Oh my God, this is the hardest job ever. First up, Jurnee Smollett. Is her husband guilty or not guilty of stealing her retirement money? Attorney Turner, what say you?
I say that this story is a lesson. Don't marry beneath you. And what I mean by that is somebody who doesn't have your same values and doesn't have your same drive. And he is
But no.
guilty.
Is he guilty of stealing her
He's
money?
guilty. He's guilty
No,
of
he's not.
stealing. Because if he had those other things, he wouldn't be seeking it.
All right. Attorney Weiss, what say you?
I don't even know. I think that she's guilty for not having a good prenup, and he's guilty for just trying to go get what he thinks is his. I guess.
All right,
I mean,
Attorney Carter, guilty, not guilty?
What
Which one?
We're saying is guilty. The wife. Yeah.
Is the husband guilty of stealing that lady money? Attorney Carter?
I'm sorry. He need to get all he can, girl. That is half his money. He was there the whole time. Girlfriend, it is half his.
You already know what I'm going to say. He is guilty. He is
He's guilty. I'm Alan. I'm the judge here.
It's
It's Celebrity Court of Public Opinion. And that man is found not guilty. All right? Because legally, he did what he was supposed to do. Now, morally, is that correct? Probably not so much. But legally, he did what he's supposed to do. Next up, Daddy Yankee. Are his wives, is his ex-wife and sister guilty or not guilty of stealing that man's money? Attorney Turner?
Yeah, I don't really want to say it, but I believe that she may be guilty. I need some more facts, but it's all looking to like she stole the money.
All right, Attorney Weiss.
Oh, she is guilty of stealing the money, and he is guilty of going after her. And if she would have just kept quiet, probably nobody would have gone anywhere.
Attorney Carter.
I'm gonna be consistent. Not guilty. That was half her money. They've been together since she was 19 years old. When she took that money out of the bank account, it was half her money. You can't steal your own money. Get your money, girl. Enjoy it.
Ooh, $100 million. What planet are you on, Attorney Carter? What the hell are you talking about, dude?
It's half her money. They're married.
I concur with Attorney Carter. It's half. If you want to say half,
Okay.
the first one,
I'm going to find her guilty. Guilty of being a thief. Guilty of overspending. I wish you would take $100 million of my money. Watch and see what happens. Next up, Kandi Burruss and Todd Tucker. Are they guilty or not guilty of paying their bills and ruining their spot? Attorney Ashley.
I think they're not guilty because I think there's a mitigating circumstance.
All right, Attorney Turner.
You know, the money don't lie. They haven't paid it. So I think they're guilty of not paying the rent. And we have to see whether or not they have mitigating reasons for why they didn't.
Attorney Weiss.
I agree with Attorney Turner. There's probably a lot more going in, and they'll probably use the court registry once a lawsuit is filed.
Attorney Carter.
They are guilty of not having a small fire come and burn that place down a long time ago. This is you understand that this is like the first of 100 bad things that happened there. The place got closed down for food violations. They had one employee shoot the other employee in there. Now, this is great for Housewives of Atlanta, but she shouldn't be running a restaurant. Even Keith Lee didn't like it, and Keith Lee, all he cared about is if you can get food to his car. They couldn't get the food to his car so he could do a review. No, close the restaurant, girl, and just do everything you do on burn down Housewife of Atlanta.
Oh, God, I'm done. All right, I'm Alan. I'm the judge here. We're going to find Kandi and Todd negligent, guilty. You should not make all that money and have a messed up restaurant and not pay your rent. All right? And just like typical, you ruin everything in the place. Now it don't work. Now you want to walk away from it. Guilty as charged. Next up, Andrew Tate. Oh, Lord, the ladies are going to go for this. See how this works out, guys. Andrew Tate, is he guilty or not guilty of exploitation as well as sex trafficking? Attorney Carter, what say you?
Oh, they're guilty of everything. But they got Trump on their side, so we'll see how it works out for them.
That's just so crazy. Attorney Ashley?
Yeah, they're guilty, but they'll get pardoned if a crime is even brought. I don't even think any crimes are going to be charged. I think the crimes are going to stay in Romania. But like you said, just because you're not found guilty in America or Romania doesn't mean that you're not actually.
Okay, Jason Weiss.
I say send them back to Romania, and then who cares?
Attorney Carter, Turner.
One of them was guilty of being fined, but
There it is.
That half black one that Sean was talking about. One that's
I
half
do
black.
not condone this. So yeah, I think they're
Remote
guilty.
down, Jason.
Oh, my goodness. Look at Shatan. Shatan, you're one of those daggone jury
cute.
members that will let them
fine,
off just
too.
because they're attractive.
Yeah. He's giving
I'm
dark
just stating the obvious. He could be
All right, I'm
fined.
Alan. I'm the judge here in Celebrity Court, and I'm going to find the Tates guilty. Guilty of being fined, guilty of being slimy, guilty of sex trafficking, and guilty of exploitation. Beat it. Go back to Romania. Next up, Druski, Odell Beckham, and Diddy. Whew. Are they guilty or not guilty? Attorney Ashley.
Not guilty until I see some more receipts. They're not guilty until I see.
Attorney Weiss.
I think they're just guilty of having blonde hair and a dark beard. So I mean, that it seems to be that's the only thing they have in common. I want to hear more.
Attorney Carter.
Druski is guilty of getting rich with no talent. That's what he's guilty of, but probably not this.
All right, Attorney Turner.
I need more facts, but if they were hanging out with Diddy, then they're guilty of having really poor judgment because it sounds like there was a whole lot of baby oil going on.
Yes. I'm going to tell you what they're guilty of. They're guilty of a sloppy foursome. Absolutely not attractive. There's no way. I would charge all of them too for putting me in that room with them ugly mugs. No, thank you. Druski and Diddy, beat it. All right. Guilty. No, wait a minute. They're guilty. They're guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's all I got to say about them. All right, everybody. I don't know about you, but this court docket threw me for a loop. So this is what's up, ladies and gentlemen. Tonight, we navigated to tumultuous waters where celebrity, law, and public opinion intersect, obviously. We've examined cases that challenge our perception of justice. Woo! Did Shaitan and Ashley let us have it on that? Responsibility and the very nature of truth. Jurnee's dispute with her ex-husband over retirement funds forces her to question the boundaries of marital assets and personal entitlement. Daddy Yankee's colossal lawsuit against his ex-wife and his sister unveils a narrative of alleged betrayal and financial misconduct. The investigation on Andrew Tate challenges us to reflect on the global reach of legal accountability, which I thought was great how the lawyers broke it down. And finally, the grave accusations against Diddy, Druski, and Odell Beckham compel us to confront the delicate balance between believing survivors and safeguarding against unfound claims. As we adjourn tonight's session of Celebrity Court of Public Opinion, I leave with you this thought. In the realm of fame and fortune, the scales of justice are often tested. It's our collective responsibility to weigh the evidence, question our biases, and strive for a truth that transcends headlines. Thank you for joining us tonight, and until next time, stay informed, stay critical, and remember, the Court of Public Opinion is always in session. Court is now adjourned. Thank you for joining us, everybody.
See you next time.